Well, hello again, fabulous friends. Welcome to another Flesh and Blood video. Today, simply and purely, we just need to talk with everything that's been going on. I'm going to, one more time, get back to that subject matter of Crucible of War Unlimited going out of print. There's been all kinds of comments everywhere, and not only in the comment section of this channel, other YouTube creators and Discords and so on and so forth. So we'll just one more time come back to this, and maybe we're going to backtrack. And for those of you, for some of you, this may be somewhat of a review, but for new players out there, we're going to go through what's happened with Legend Store Studios, Flesh and Blood, since the very beginning to try to understand what is the thinking behind putting Crucible of War Unlimited out of print at such a early date, I would say. Okay, well, first of all, before we get into that, I just wanted to remind you that, as I've said before, this channel is, 50% fact, 40% opinion, or probably 45 and 5% bullshit. So, you need not worry. There may be some things you don't agree with. Anyway, you will be able to make your own comments and let me know what you think of all this that's about to come up. So let's get into it right away. All right, so let's backtrack to the beginning of Legend Store Studios, okay, 11th of October, 2019. Prior to that, in the month of August in Belgium, they had Welcome to Wraith Alpha edition printed, all right? And over the months, actually, 6 months ago, we finally found out what was the print run of Alpha. 400,000 booster packs, which, when you divide that by 24, turns out to be about 16,667 booster boxes. And by the way, there were, I believe, 5,000 displays of the Blitz decks. Alpha Welcome to Wraith came with 4 Blitz decks for the new first 4 heroes of the sets of Flesh and Blood. And so 10,000 decks of each were made for all of these, for those 4 heroes, which comes out to 5,000 displays. So that was the print run of the Blitz decks. And obviously those are out of print. And obviously Alpha Edition is out of print. And this happened in August, basically the end of summer, beginning of the fall of 2019. They went onto market in the US, Australia, New Zealand, and so on and so forth on October 11th, 2019. All right, so that's our Welcome to Wraith Alpha. That's out of print. There's no discussion, any further discussion with respect to that. Okay, so let's move on. And just follow me here, and we'll try to determine what was their thinking, like I said at the beginning, in terms of Crucible of War, what happened recently. All right, so then a few months later, not very long later after that, in December of 2019 came Arcane Rising First Edition, and once again those were printed in Belgium, and those were printed at the same rate as the Welcome to Wraith Alpha. So Arcane Rising First Edition, 400,000 booster packs, 16,667 boxes. No, there were new heroes that came out. Obviously, 4 new heroes with that set, but there were no Blitz decks with that set. Obviously, that is also a set that's gone out of print since. So there we go. So that's simple enough, right? So then came along our third set, which is Crucible of War First Edition. Now that came along in June of 2020, and that was printed in 2 occasions. Actually, it was printed in June of 2020 and in August. In June of 2020, it was printed. Actually, they were printed in Belgium. At this time with Crucible of War, we had 6 new heroes. Supplemental set, right? Crucible of War, don't forget. Supplemental set, 6 new heroes, one of which is a merchant, and the other a shapeshifter. So not really usable heroes that we make decks of, but they are heroes that were introduced anyhow. We'll see what happens with that in the future. So that was in June of last year, so a little over a year ago. So Crucible Unlimited came, and it ended up being a fantastic set, the favorite set of a lot of people, and yeah. So since then, starting at that point, when a little later on in September and October of last year, of 2020, Welcome to Wraith Unlimited came out, and Arcane Rising 1 month later came out. Then there started to be some talk about what's going to happen with Crucible of War. Will we get some Unlimited? Well, actually, we don't know if it was ever in the plans of Legend Store Studios to have Crucible of War Unlimited, but nevertheless, there started at that point to be a lot of speculation and players asking for that, because prices, as you may know, started skyrocketing for Crucible of War First Edition, and players needed those cards to complement and supplement their decks that they were making for the 8 heroes that were up to that point available, right? Okay, so then what basically happened was that we had a 4th set come out at the beginning of 2021. We had the 4th set, and by the way, Crucible of War Unlimited was they never mentioned that, but there were basically 2 print runs, and that is also out of print, right? The not Unlimited, sorry, Crucible of War First Edition, that is also basically out of print, but there was not like just a 1 print run. There was one in June and one in August of 2020, so a little over a year ago. All right, so then there was the knowledge that we would be getting a 4th set, Monarch, and Monarch, as we know, First Edition came out just this last May, and then 2, 3, 4 weeks later in June, beginning of June, we had the unlimited version of Monarch, and I don't want to get back into that. You all know what happened, because if you're even if you're recently into Flesh and Blood, you know all about that. So the first part's different because some people weren't in Flesh and Blood with 2 years ago. And by the way, with the Crucible of War, we also had the First Edition. We had the print run of that told to us. That was 900,000 boosters. That divided by 24, that turns out to be 17,500 boxes. All right. So, sorry, 37,500 boxes. Yeah. So basically, a little more than double the print run of the first 2 sets in the First Edition. Okay. So, back to Monarch. So you all know about that, what happened with Monarch. And all that time, as I was mentioning to you before, there were the players basically screaming out there to get the Flesh and Blood, to get some Crucible of War Unlimited. And like I mentioned, I don't know if it was ever in the plans, but it happened that at a certain point, it was announced that yes, Crucible of War Unlimited would come to market. And that happened just in June this year, right after the Monarch, okay? But for those of you who have seen people like criticizing the fact that Unlimited Crucible of War was out there just so short, for such a short period of time, do not forget that maybe it wasn't even in the works, it wasn't even planned to have it, and so they basically went with the desire. If it wasn't planned, they went with the desire of the players and decided that, okay, we will do it. But then again, that happened right after Monarch. So in June of this year, 2021, we saw it was announced. Well, it had been announced just a bit before, but we did get a first how can I say, print of Unlimited. But they did say, though, I can remember clearly, there would be 3 waves. I mean, were we supposed to read between the lines and just figure out that, okay, 3 waves is 3 waves? I mean, they were basically telling us that that's what there would be, and without saying that it would actually go out of print. But that's basically what it was. It was a print run, I think, where we get end of July, end of August, and end of September, I believe, or maybe it's 1 month before. But nevertheless, that it's all started. It was over a 3-month period, 3 waves, 1 every month, and they didn't say that would be it. But I mean, you can almost, now that we know in retrospect that they officially announced that welcome to Wraith. Crucible of War Unlimited went unlimited. Unlimited was now out of print. Well, now we can, in retrospect, know that that's exactly probably what they meant. Okay, so yeah. Now, as we move forward a bit, well, now we've just had the Tales of Aria lately, but no need to get into that specifically. I just want to delve here on the Crucible of War, and to me, there is a reason. I've always been telling you, there's a reason why Legend Store Studios does everything they do, okay? They know where they're going. We don't know where they're headed. Of course, we can speculate and have fun and guess and this and that and forth. But what I do not like is people like criticizing Legend Store Studios for, without knowing what is their plan. And I mean, they can't just, they're very open about almost everything. I mean, you can just follow, print runs come out, I mean, way more open than any other TCG I've seen, including Magic the Gathering and so on and so forth. So, but they cannot, I mean, it's not as if we're going to learn absolutely everything. And until we do learn what their plans were, well, I mean, we just have to sit back, relax, and accept what they are doing. Just think of this. After the first 2 sets, right? Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, First Edition, then Unlimited. After that, they came out, following that, they came out with that supplemental set, which is Crucible, right? Now, who is to say that we don't know the name of the next set yet? Now, who's to say that maybe the next set is a supplemental set, and it's a supplemental set that is aimed at completing decks or cards that would be necessary for the last two sets that we got, Monarch and Aria. So if that's their plan, then with a supplemental set coming out very soon, well, that would make sense, right? That they decided that the first supplemental set, Crucible, even the unlimited version, would go out of print. I mean, that's just logical. And even worse, what if they actually have planned also in the next supplemental set to actually have cards that can be used? Because now people are going, well, now if we don't have the Crucible Unlimited cards that we can, that we absolutely need in our decks, because some of those cards, obviously, as you know, are pretty strong cards that will always be used, well, always, as of now, with the cards that we know that exist with Flesh and Blood. So what if in the next supplemental set it is already planned that those cards will be reprinted and come back, so we don't need necessarily the Crucible Unlimited anymore, and that's the reason why they decided that it would go out of print. All right, so what I'm trying to say here is that let's not speculate too much. We can have fun doing it, but they have their reasons. They know what they're doing. I mean, this is the best TCG launch I've ever had. I mean, I haven't been into TCGs all my life, but from what I've seen in the past years, I mean, they're doing so many things right. I'm willing to say, they know let's see first what happens, and then we can judge. So that's probably what can happen. I wouldn't be surprised at all that that's what's coming the next set of supplemental set. And if not, then there may be just another regular set, but another supplemental set basically is coming. So from what I can see, and by the way, just a few words coming back to Welcome to Wraith here in Arcane Rising. I think I mentioned it in a previous video. Now that, we've seen, they've come out and told us that sets go out of print. Now, we knew that the first editions after the first print runs are out of print, obviously, but now that we have a first unlimited set out of print, expect, obviously, I mean, it's logical, right? Welcome to Wraith and Arcane Rising to eventually go out of print, and I expect that will happen at a maximum in 1 year from now, maybe on their 3rd anniversary in October 2022, but that is the latest. It could happen before that, 3 to 6 months, maybe, we don't know, but at the latest, I expect it to happen October of next year. The reason being, with the influx possibly of new players this year, tripling the player base, it's always possible that they want those first sets to still be available. But as I often said also, no set remains unlimited forever. Even unlimited sets go out of print. And and then I see people complain about the fact that, but what happens to new players won't have access to the cards? I mean, if you start playing Magic the Gathering right now, 25 years later, do you think you have access to the first cards that came out in the first sets? No, you play and you're dealt the hand that you get when you enter that TCG. So for people that come in now, well, Aria is their new set, and for people that come into to Flesh and Blood in a few years, then they'll deal with whatever set we have at that time. And if they want to make decks that include cards that were available in previous sets, then of course they'll have to buy them and find them and pay for them, and it's part of the game, So we can't expect things to be always perfect for everybody. You can come into the game for the next 10 years, and you will always have access to the other cards. It doesn't work that way. All right. So that's my little bit of ranting. And so for the future, what I expect is very soon another supplemental set, and those sets that I just mentioned going out of print eventually. And a lot of people have started speculating about that and have actually told themselves, oh, I'm going to not hoard, but I'm going to get myself a few boxes at least of those products here. Welcome to Wraith and Arcane Rising Unlimited. The reason I have so much is because I want to be doing box openings and case openings for you guys on this channel in the future. And to have content, well, I have to have product that will be used one day. So I'm a collector. I'm going to keep some in my collection, but I'm not a seller. I'm not an investor. I'm mostly a collector, as you probably know by now. So the little bit of selling that happens, yes, of course, is when I open cases for you guys. They're mailed out to you in that sense, but you won't see anything on eBay from me. All right, so that's about what I have for today. I also wanted to mention that as of the filming of this video, we actually are right now in the in the thick of things in the Dallas-Fort Worth calling in the United States. And from what I've heard, in the whereabouts of 500 players have been showing up for the event, and that is about what was expected actually. And Cincinnati, maybe 400 to 500 also is expected. Orlando would probably, I'm thinking Orlando may be as big as Vegas actually, because not only is it a calling, but it is also the nationals for the U.S. So there you go. We're having our nationals in Toronto, actually, in Canada coming up also. So yeah, and because we're in that realm of things, I just wanted to mention, can you imagine that Orlando, the last calling and national championship, is held the 5th, 6th, and 7th of November. See, here I am in Canada. We've been waiting for the, we can fly to the United States, obviously, but whole bunch of problem, you know, we've got to get tested 72 hours before when you land there, quarantine for 14 days, all kinds of rules. So we basically we're waiting for the border to open so we can drive, right? I play in the World Series of Poker, so Cincinnati on the way, and then driving to Vegas. That's too late for that because the border is still not open. So I was hoping for Orlando. Imagine what, that's not a little disappointed today. I'm ranting on, maybe that's part of the reason, but anyway, so yeah, so Orlando, can you guess what? Orlando is the 5th, 6th, and 7th of November, right? 2-day drive down south for me. They finally announced that the border would open between Canada and the US so that now we can drive, and all you need to do is be vaccinated, no tests and this and that and so forth. So 5th, 6th, and 7th of November, it's held while they're opening the border the 8th of November. I was screaming, I was pulling my hair out, oh my God. I thought maybe I'd fly. Josie brings the car down, but she has to drive by herself for 2 days, like 40 hours of driving. I won't do that to her. But anyway, so it's still not looking good for Orlando. I was really hoping to meet you guys and have a look at our cards that we have, and then maybe do some trading with you guys. Yeah, I don't do selling, but it's fun to trade. It is a trading card game. I like to get involved with that and also meet all you guys that have been part of this channel. It's been great. Almost 2,000 subscribers now. I mean, I don't publish twice a day or anything like that, so it's good that just by our 3 videos a week we get to be 2,000 in about a year. So that's, I'm very happy with that. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing in terms of content. And let me tell you that when we do reach 2,000, I've planned something pretty special for the channel. So don't hesitate if you're not a subscriber yet, as of yet, to do so right now, so that that'll help us. I think we're about 90 subscriptions away as we speak right now. So that's all I have for you today. I'm anxious to hear and see the comments that you will be posting as a result of what I've talked about today. And I promise I won't be getting into this subject much more in the future. I just wanted, you know, to, like I said, invite you guys to people to just sit back, relax, and just see what Legend Store Studios has in store for us before we do all that criticizing. Because to me, I've seen content creators, I've seen people, you know, rant a little bit about the fact that it was only available for 3 months, Crucible Unlimited, that we do need those cards. Yes, but I've explained to you why I think that maybe there's a reason to that in the first place. And it was announced. It was announced that there would be 3 waves basically, and they didn't say it in the terms of, okay, this will only be available for 3 months. It just said, okay, we're gonna have 3 waves of a product that you've been asking us, because I'm not even sure that they intended on having the unlimited available in the first place. But anyhow, that's it. I hope you guys have liked the video, and until our next one very soon, stay safe out there, and we will see you then. Bye-bye for now.